Hey, cats, what's good with you? So today we're going to discuss Jerry Nadler, Adam Schiff, and old Pelosi. Okay, supposedly there's a three-way tussle because Nadler cared about the Constitution when Trump was in office. Check this out. Hey, cats, welcome in. So, apparently, there's a new book coming out which Fox was able to attain some excerpts from. And it's from some writers over at Politico. And apparently, it's filled with leaks from the Nadler staff, right? Old Jerry Nadler from up there in, New York. Old, paints. And anyway, dude goes on to it goes on to explain that the leak says that this guy was reporting that Nadler was having a private tussle with old crazy-eyed Schiff and Pelosi, right, over the constitutionality of the impeachment against Trump for quid pro quo with old Zelensky over there in the Ukraines, right? I'm sure everybody remembers. But, the book is called Unchecked. Congress's botched impeachment of one Donald J. Trumpsicles. And, I guess there's some pretty juicy stuff in there. But my thing about this is, we're talking about, one of the top three Democrats that led the charge through the impeachment, right? This was one of the people that you saw, sleeping around in there while they were trying to remove Trumpsicles, right? But, I don't know. It's hard to believe that he tried to basically stick up for the rights of Trump. But apparently, Wide-Eyed told him, basically, you're painting us in a box with our investigation. Like, basically, don't even point this out. You're fucking us. And then told, with Pelosi, it was brought up, and apparently she said, well, we'll ignore that, or she blatantly ignored him. And, it's to the point to where he was out of favor and had to put together a legal team and go do a whole bunch of extra homework to get back in her good graces, right? But anyway, this was all over, the supposed, Trump. I'm not even going to say supposed. The phone call happened, right? This was over a phone call he made to Zelensky, asking him to investigate, the whole deal with him and the Russian spying and all that jazz that went through the Mueller investigation, and also into the dealings of the Bidens. It's just a blatant case of just investigate my political enemies. It was also check into this whole deal that happened with the 2016 election. Our media, definitely, obviously, propaganda arms of the leftist state. They just went on to omit the vast majority of what Trump, actually said. And they would lead off with, I'd like you to do me a favor, though, right? And it wasn't only the media. It was also, Wide Eyes. And I refuse to show this dude any other way because this character is fucking great and it fits perfectly. This is what I see when I think of this dude, right? But anyway, this insane dude right here, if you remember, I got physical evidence that Trump's a Russian spy. You remember, right? Right? And then our media just went through this tour of trying to twist the whole situation. Check this shit out.
A just-released transcript of a phone call shows President Trump asking Ukrainian President Zelensky to investigate his political rival, former Vice President Joe Biden. And in this call, the president repeatedly stresses how much the U.S. does for Ukraine. And then he says, quote, I would like you to do us a favor. The president asks Zelensky to dig up dirt on Biden and his son, Hunter, who sat on the board of a Ukrainian energy company while his dad was vice president.
Trump. And Donald Trump, if you're listening, everything you say may be used against you in the court of public opinion. Donald Trump manifesting his own destiny in terms of the impeachment proceedings now underway in Congress by attempting to run a political hit job operation on Joe Biden and his son by asking a foreign leader to investigate them. The White House revealing in notes today from the president's call with the president of Ukraine that Trump pushed the leader of a foreign country to work with his personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, and his AG, William Barr, to investigate the Bidens.
The Ukrainian president mentions buying missiles from the United States. And President Trump tells the Ukrainian president, "I would like you to do us a favor, though." President Trump urges the Ukrainian president to work with his personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, and Attorney General William Barr to look into Joe Biden and his son's business dealings in Ukraine.
And let's not forget, this summary that was released by the White House, the president specifically quoted as saying to the Ukrainian president, "I would like you to do us a favor," and then goes into an investigation into the Bidens and the Democrats.
Well, right, the media train of just twisting shit and omitting stuff. I mean, and you remember Trump willingly released, the transcripts of this phone call. I mean, it wasn't a court order type of thing. It wasn't through Congress, an act of Congress. The Trump camp willingly released the transcripts. Okay? Right? And you see in the previous clip, it was also, Republican-leaning Fox News doing the same shit as CNN and MSNBC, right? And then here you got, Schiff, a sitting member of government, just blatantly bullshitting and making shit up. And what's even more hilarious is it took ABC to call this fucking toad out. Right? Check this shit out.
Important here.
You have been criticized by the president and others for comments you made in your opening statement at the hearing on Thursday. I want to show a bit of it right here.
I'm going to say this only 7 times, so you better listen good. I want you to make up dirt on my political opponent, understand lots of it. This is, in sum and character, what the president was trying to communicate.
That was you making up dialogue, putting it in the president's mouth. If the facts are as damning as you say, why make up dialogue for dramatic effect, even if it's a parody, as you say?
Well, George, you're right. The call speaks for itself, and it is plenty damning. But let's not pretend that this is really what the president is upset with me about. I can tell you exactly why the president is furious with me. And that is because when I learned that a whistleblower had filed a credible and urgent complaint and was being withheld from Congress, and no one in the country knew about this yet, I went public to demand that we get that complaint. I scheduled a hearing with the acting director to force the director to come in, as I said at the time, to explain to the American people why he was the first director to withhold a complaint from Congress. That had the effect of forcing the White House to produce that complaint, which I then made public. That also had the effect of forcing them to release that call record. That's what the president is furious with me about.
Yeah, I mean, what a lame-ass excuse, right? That's not why he's upset with me. He's not upset that I'm trying to fucking abuse his fucking constitutional rights, and he's not getting legal representation, even that afforded that. You know what I mean? He's pissed at me because we released the transcript. No, he's pissed because you're literally omitting shit and making stuff up, man. You know what I'm saying? The same reason that the vast majority of people that were there, seeing this at the time. I mean, no, how could you not be pissed? This is blatant. To me, this is treasonous shit. Regardless if you support crumbsicles or not, this is treasonous shit. You know what I mean? And so this so-called leak or whatever, regardless of what old Paints fucking said, of it not being constitutional or what have you, it didn't end that way. Again, he was one of the ringleaders, man. He was one of the top 3 in the whole circus, leading the lizard gang. You know what I'm saying? Through the impeachment process, right? And this is how it ended.
This is a test of the Constitution. The president's conduct violates the Constitution in every single way. Trying to rig an election, stonewalling the Congress is saying no one may testify because I can have a cover-up despite Congress. But it's a test of the Constitution now. The Senate is intended by the Constitution to conduct a fair trial. The American people know that in a trial, you permit witnesses. You present the evidence. If the Senate doesn't permit the introduction of all relevant witnesses, and of all documents that the House wants to introduce, because the House is the prosecutor here, then the Senate is engaging in an unconstitutional and disgusting cover-up.
And if McConnell makes this the first trial in history without witnesses, it will be exposed for what it is, and that is an effort to cover up for the president.
Right? So regardless, man, so when this book comes out, right, and the media starts covering it on both sides of the aisle, dude, don't believe the hype, man. This dude's a fucking lizard. I don't care, even if he did try to say that it was unconstitutional, the dude still willingly went through with it to retain, you know, what little bit of power his carcass still has. You know, this is absolute ridiculousness. And I can't believe that we've devolved to the level that this type of, you know, obvious corruption is not only not punished, but it's like rewarded. This dude's the head of government committees, man. Fucking sad times out here, right? You know, argue with me, tell me I'm bullshitting, tell me to fuck off, whatever. Like, share, subscribe. Smell you later.